Hi, good morning, everybody. Happy Friday, happy Easter. I hope you're all having a fantastic week. I am here today with Helen from Helen Joubert Wellness and Nutrition. I did get that the right way around. No, Nutrition and Wellness.
Yes, Nutrition and Wellness. Morning, everyone. Okay. Morning, Lynn. Happy birthday, Lynn.
Thank you. I'm 42, everybody, and it is the best age ever. So today we're going
I'm very jealous.
Today we're going to be talking about my result of the 4-week health challenge that I've just completed with Helen. So a couple of weeks ago, we did a video on the truth about health and wellness, and we introduced the fact that I'm going to be doing a health challenge with Helen. So just to remind everybody, join in the discussion. You can either join us live, come up on video and talk to us face to face. The link is in the description of this video. Or you can just pop into the comments, say hi, and ask questions or join in. And one of you will win a 1-hour health consultation with Helen. So for those people that don't know you, Helen, do you want to just introduce yourself again and tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So as Lynn says, my name is Helen Joubert, and as you can hear, I am British, and I moved here about 6 years ago. I am a nutritional therapist, health coach, and nutritionist. And I work with mainly stressed out, overstressed, overweight women who are just, a little bit overwhelmed and just need some extra support because, they've tried everything out there and it just doesn't work. So that's what I do. I've got 2 little kiddies. They're turning 9 in a couple of weeks. And and that's me, really.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And for anyone who doesn't know, Helen's kids are at the same school as my kids, and that's how I've met Helen. So we've been chatting about collaborating for a long time. So this has been quite exciting and made me quite happy to finally get there. And just a little bit about myself and my weight. So like I explained in the previous video we did, I put on 40 kilos when I was pregnant with my first child. And then I finally lost it. I got pregnant with my second child. And I put on only 14 kilos, which made me feel like a Victoria's Secret model with my big tummy, but everything else skinny. And when I gave birth to my son, I lost my weight very, very quickly. My son was shall we call him an avid feeder? And he basically sucked all of the extra weight out of me very, very quickly.
A guzzler.
A guzzler, yes. Within 3 weeks of giving birth, I'd lost all my pregnancy weight plus 5 kilos. I mean, it was like I just shrunk. So that's not when I think a lot of women struggle to lose the weight after giving birth and after having children. My thing is that I quit smoking about, 6 years ago? And I turned to food to get over my cigarette cravings, and I put on over 20 kilos very, very quickly. And I've always been a naturally skinny person, and I've never had trouble with my weight in my life before. I have always been able to eat what I want. I haven't had to exercise, and I've been pretty skinny. I mean, sometimes I put on a bit of weight, but it's like 1 or 2 kilos, not 20. So this is the last 6 years has been a very new experience for me. And I've really wanted to get rid of all this weight. And it's been incredible to me to see not just the physical effects, but the mental of being overweight and how you feel and how people look at you and will look at me. I'll keep it personal. I've had someone, there's a cafe down the road, and I used to walk in and the lady goes, "Yes, sis, you got fat, eh? This is the lady that works there." And you're like, yeah, I did. But like, really, do you say that out loud to people? So it's been an eye-opener for me. And I've never really thought about how it must feel for people that are overweight to walk around. And I've never understood the pain and the that they go through every day. Now I'm not obesely overweight. I've been, for the last 6 years, I've been averaging around 82 kilos. And it's not been nice. So 4 weeks ago, Helen and I started this challenge, and I started off with a big bang. And what happened is week 2, I had the hormonal IUD put in, the Mirena, and I took a big knock. So the challenge in a lot of aspects has not gone off quite how I envisioned. So Helen and I were supposed to meet up weekly. So full disclosure, we met up once, but we have had WhatsApp voice notes going back and forward. But we were going to have like a 1-hour session each week, which kind of fell through. That's the downside. No fault of Helen's. I think that was me, because I wasn't coping due to the depression that I felt after getting the Mirena put in. So I struggled to, keep going. But on the bright side, every time I've tried to lose weight, there's been something that's come that's knocked me, and I haven't gotten up or carried on. So while Helen and I didn't have that 1-hour weekly consultation, we have stayed in contact, and I haven't lost a huge amount of weight, but I've lost weight. And more noticeable for me is not the weight, but it's how I'm feeling. And there's been lots of wonderful results I've seen that's been very inspiring and has kept me going. So I've kept on the path of healthy eating, my exercise, all my goals, but I haven't been guided that much because I kind of haven't been in contact. So I'm going to go through what all my stuff is. Let's just first say, hi, we've got Elaine. Hi, good morning. I hope you are well. Thanks for watching. Okay, so when I started, my weight was 82 kilos. Week 1 and week 2, I lost weight. I lost about 1 kilo a week. Week 3 and week 4. Week 3, I put weight on again until I hit 81. But that was because I believe I put the Mirena in, and part of it, I think, was that my exercise kind of took a step back, my activity. I was depressed. I was miserable. I felt like I couldn't move. I did move, just not very fast, but I did keep moving every day. Oh, there's Mary Ann. Hi! That's my old childhood friend from school years. So, yeah, so it's been kind of up and down. So that 3rd week, I actually put on 1 kilo, which was in one way very demotivating. But while I put on 1 kilo that week, I actually started seeing my body change that week. So I could feel like when I walk, my elbows weren't hitting these blubby fat rolls on my sides. I could feel that my waist had gone in like this. And when I was, showering and washing my arms, I'm like, I've got a little muscle there. I can feel this little muscle, and my arms have slimmed down, my face has slimmed down. So, yeah, week 3 was like both good and bad, because I could see the physical changes, and people would say to me, oh, you've lost weight. And I'm like, yeah, I did. And then week 4, I've seen more physical changes, and I should be putting my banner up here. What are my results? Boom. Okay. So, yeah, and then week 4, I lost 1 kilo again. So now I'm back to 80 kilos, and I'm hoping I'm going to keep going. Is that normal, Helen?
Very normal, because the other thing to remember, okay, so week 3, you had the knock, the setback.
Yes.
And the thing is, this is why normally we would do lots of different measurements. So do you remember we did the quiz, the health and energy quiz, to kind of, actually we should have done that before this, because that would have been interesting to see what your scores are. So remember we did that, and then the other things, you can measure your actual measurements. So, bust, hips, waist, whatever else, whatever, your pain points are. If you just want Jennifer Aniston arms, then measure your arms. But also remember that you became more active as well. So, as well as changing what you're eating, you started walking a lot, and you even ran. You told me earlier this time, you just started doing that, which is amazing. Well done. But what that means is that potentially you didn't put on fat, you didn't put on adipose tissue. It could well have been that you were toning up and muscles were being reawakened. And muscles weigh more than adipose tissue, than fats, but they take up less space in our bodies. So this is why and if we had our weekly chats, I would say, don't be discouraged by that at all, because you're exercising. So it's not just about how much you weigh, it is about how you feel, how you look, you know, how your clothes are sitting on you. So it could be that week you actually still lost the bad stuff, but got the good stuff instead. Does that make sense?
No,
Can you
no,
see
it
what?
totally makes sense. And what I want to talk about now, okay, so in 4 weeks, I've lost 2 kilos and I have measured my waist. I have lost 6 centimeters around my waist. And my waist is a big problem area for me. You know, I've got, you know, my figure's a bit odd, okay? So I've got like a boy figure, as in no bum, no hips, no like waist, hourglass.
Straight up and down.
I'm like a boy figure, except I've got big boobs. And then when I put on weight, I'm like a boy figure, big boobs, and this huge belly. So it's a very funny figure. You know, I'm not the typical, you know, I don't gain weight everywhere. I've got no bum. So I feel very like out of proportion and not like right. And something amazing that happened this last week, which is like, you know, so there's funny things that I want to share, which is big for me. So I remember a couple of years back, I was walking in the mall and I was looking in the shops, this window shopping, and I caught my reflection in the mirror and I thought, yes, my tummy's fat. And I'm like, suck it in. And I sucked my tummy in and I thought, nothing moved. I'm sucking and I'm sucking and I'm sucking. And I can't feel my stomach pulling in and I can't see it. And I'm like, well, that sucks. So I've still got a fat tummy, but I can suck it in a bit. You know? Of like, I can suck it in and I can visibly see a little bit of a, so yeah, I'm still chubby. But for me, that's a really cool thing that I'm starting to be able to suck my fat rolls in towards myself.
That's good. I mean, I would just say, keep going, you know, find that motivation. You know, we talked about at the beginning, what's your big why? You know, what is your wellness vision? You know, and when you have the, you know, the bad week where it doesn't quite go how you want it to go in terms of weight loss or whatever, or you get sabotage thrown at you, that wellness vision pulls you to it. So it keeps you motivated. It's kind of the big reason, you know, your big why to do this. And then over time as well, as your habits, you know, your new healthier habits come into place, things become easier as well. It doesn't feel, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but, you know, there's things that you gave up that you thought you might miss. And have you missed them as much as you thought they would? I mean, where are you now, you know, 4 weeks in?
Coffee.
Yeah.
Coffee. I thought I was a coffee addict. Okay. Yeah. It's not a coffee problem I have. It's actually a sugar problem because I have 2 sugars in my coffee. And I would drink 4, 5, 6 cups a day. And I used to have a cup of coffee first thing in the morning when I got up. I used to have one first thing when I got home from dropping the kids at school. When I hit my desk, I had a cup of coffee. Later on in the afternoon, and maybe after my kids get home, and maybe when my husband gets home, I'd have a cup of coffee. But by lunchtime, I'd have had 3 to 4 cups of coffee. And I thought I would miss that, and I really was worried about that. I now have sometimes 1 cup of coffee. Sometimes I have nothing. And I still have my 2 sugars in the coffee because I tried the xylitol, and it's like...
How many sugars? How many sugars in your coffee? 2.
So I thought, well, I do love my coffee, and I do love it with 2 sugars, and the xylitol doesn't do it for me.
But you said you didn't. I just want to challenge you a little bit on that one, Lynn. You said you didn't. It wasn't the coffee; it's the sugar.
Yes.
So, what about? Could you consider finding something else that could, you know, make you feel, you know, good in the same way? So instead of having a coffee, because there's caffeine in coffee. It's a stressor. It raises your cortisol level. So, you know, we get to an age and that sort of fat in the middle is so typical. And that is one of the things that does that is cortisol will contribute to that. But the sugar, while you're still having added sugar to stuff, your taste buds are not adjusting as quickly. And your body, your blood sugar is going out of balance because it's getting that kind of little spike. Is there a different drink that you could have? So that you don't miss the sugar that you would like that you'd enjoy.
I haven't been drinking that coffee every single day.
Yeah, that's really good.
So most days now I'm drinking water and herbal teas, but I don't like the herbal teas hot. So I make the herbal tea with no added sugar or honey or anything like that. Just the herbal tea in hot water, and then I put it in the fridge. And I drink that like a cool drink all day. And it's not green tea either. It's like the little fruit infused ones, which I really like. So that's been a big change for me. And then I've actually got that written here, better taste. So my whole taste has changed. Like when I eat fruit now, I'm like, whoa, this is sweet. This is so tasty. Whereas before, I didn't notice those things. And I'm finding that I'm enjoying my food a lot more. I am tasting it. So that's on my list here of things that's changed. So that's been really, really good for me. But I think, I think a big thing that's changed as well, and what I want to stress about this health challenge that I've done with Helen is that I thought a lot of the focus would be exercising and food, but that hasn't been the big focus. My goals, yes, I need to eat so many meals a day, and I need to eat like this and like this and like this. That's been actually quite easy. I've managed to achieve that. What I've struggled with is actually finding the time to be kind to myself, and feeling good about being kind to myself, because as a mom that's got so much on my plate and things that I need to do, I found like when I take time off to go do something nice for myself, I get this guilty feeling like I should be doing the dishes, I should be doing this, I should be working, I should be doing something productive or something for my kids or my husband. And that's changed in a very big way. And I said to her this morning, I've actually been really lazy this week. My kids have been home from school, Easter holidays. And usually when it's holidays, my stress levels go up because now I've got to keep working. I've got to entertain these children. I've got to spend time with them. And instead of pushing myself to work, I've been reading on my bed. I've been doing all sorts of things with the children. Monday, I haven't been setting goals with Helen all the time because we haven't been that, naughty. But I have continued to do my goals, Helen. And last week I made my goals not so much phone time. I must read. I love reading, but when last did I read a book? So I went to the library last week. I got 2 weeks ago I went to the library. I got 2 books out and I finished them both in the first week. And then on Wednesday just passed, I went to the library again and I got out 4 books and I'm nearly finished the first one. And I'm doing things now that are giving me joy and I'm actually enjoying it without feeling guilty. And that's a huge change. And one of my other goals, I said I need to do something active with the kids, something I enjoy, something. So we went to Cape Town and I took my kids ice skating for the first time.
I know.
And it's harder as an adult than it is when you're a kid. I remember flying across the ice and and now I'm getting all aches and pains in strange places like my shoes. So at the bottom, trying to keep my legs and holding on to my kids and keeping them from falling.
And not wanting to break a hip.
Yes, I felt that. I'm like, get on the ice and I'm like, I'm like 42 nearly,
Feeling a bit vulnerable now.
But
Lynne,
the point is I'm doing things that feeds my soul.
Yeah, that's lovely. And so what I was just going to say is that I'm sure everyone out there who's watching can really resonate with what you said about finding it hard to relax. And when you do kind of find yourself in that position, that you feel guilty for it. And it's something that 98% of my clients experience. And I've got a client I'm working with at the moment who, interestingly, we didn't really get to do this and discuss this, but one of the things I get to do with my clients is I ask them to look at their values. And that's like, well, what's that got to do with losing weight? But actually, losing weight is easier if you're happy and if you are enjoying what you're doing, enjoying your life, finding some joy and feeling fulfilled. So we do the wheel of life and we figure out what those low areas are. So that's, your health, your weight, your purpose, your work, career, whatever, all the different things, all different aspects of your life. Then what we also do is we layer over that your values. And this client I'm working with at the moment, it was really interesting. She's like a complete stress head. She's in the UK, and she's got a very high-powered job. homeschooling 2 kids at the moment. Well, they've just gone back to school, but has been doing that whilst doing trying to hold down this big job. And she was talking about her to-do list, and before she did the exercise in values, she kept using this word achieve. If I get to at the end of the day and I check my to-do list, and if I haven't achieved something on that list, it makes me feel bad, blah, blah, blah. And she kept using it. And I said, this is really interesting, because I've never heard someone use the word achieve in relation to their to-do list. She went, no, you're right. Anyway, it turned out, she went, I said, please go and do your values, because she hadn't done them for about 3 weeks. And she did. And she said, achievement was so strong. And this was really holding her back. So what we did is we spent quite a lot of time reframing that, feeling like you're not achieving something if you're relaxing. That was the big thing for her. I can't relax. I can't do nothing. I can't sit and watch, Bridgerton on Netflix, because I'm not achieving anything. So we reframed it and got her to a place where she realized actually by relaxing, by taking some me time, she was achieving something. She was achieving some improvements to her mental wellness and her physical health. And she's got it all going on. She's had less headaches, she hasn't had a migraine for 3 months. So it's all these things. And that is just that one thing. By reframing that value, that identifying that value of achievements and how that is impacting and holding her back in terms of her health, she's managed to just completely change that mindset and enjoying it. And that's what you've kind of done too. But it can really impact on your health, those values. If they're compromised or you feel they're in conflict, it can have such a big impact on your health.
I actually did a values worksheet. I don't know if I finished it, but for me, happiness was a really important one. And how do I put this? But I have spent a lot of my life struggling. As a child, I felt I didn't quite fit in. I had a lot of self-confidence issues, which I hid very well. And, I was wearing a mask for a lot of my life. And then in my teens was an absolute mess with bullying and abusive relationships and using alcohol, drugs. My 20s was just like, it just went downhill, My 30s was hard because I was in a new relationship, having children, moving town, P&D. My 30s was tough. But I'm finding now my 40s really, really awesome. And, it's amazing because when I first got clean, I thought okay, in the first year, that's going to be where all my change takes place. And it's not. The first year is like just staying away from the drugs and alcohol. And I found that as time goes by and as I work on my self-improvement more and more, I feel like I'm growing in such huge ways. I've become a completely different person. And my 40s the focus has been kind of happiness. And this challenge has really made such a huge impact in the last 4 weeks. So, in fact, one thing I feel like it's one, and I don't know where this comes from, but I'm enjoying relaxing. I'm enjoying just doing something for myself, lying on my bed, reading a book and not worrying about anything. But I get this niggly feeling now that comes in and says, yo, Lynne, you might become lazy. You're starting to enjoy this a bit much. Are you even going to brush your teeth tomorrow? Are you going to, are you just going to let it all hang out? Are you just going to become this lazy person that just bubble baths and reads and just walks slowly on the beach? Or, you've got to do something.
And I would say, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with lazy? What's wrong with bubble baths, reading, and lazy walks on the beach? Nothing.
Yeah, no, I get that.
You think there's something wrong with that?
No, but it's like my mind is coming and saying these strange things to me. So it's interesting. But I'm kind of looking back and I'm watching all these interesting things that's going on. And I'm well aware of the strange things that our minds come and tell us.
But what you are very, 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 very good at, Lynne, is self-reflection. And that's probably from your years of, getting clean and dealing with your addictions and getting to really know you. So you're in that routine, that habit of self-reflection of, okay, why, what's going on there? Why did that happen? Or how do I feel there? And that is actually such a skill and something that is, you can learn, but you'll agree, I'm sure, you have to practice it. You know, you have to keep doing it, like, and go deeper and deeper and deeper. You're very, very coachable.
Yeah, I think
Because
this
you
is something
you embrace it as well.
in
You
recovery,
embrace it.
when you're in rehab and you are in a group setting, and every time you open your mouth, whatever you say, you get 18 people coming at you and challenging everything that comes out of your mouth. It's not a very pleasant experience in the beginning. But over time, what happens is you learn to be able to listen to that voice in your head and just listen to it and take notes. Oh my gosh, why would my voice be saying that? And so I'm now sitting back and I hear this voice saying things and I'm like, why would you do that? It's been
you see that voice, that inner voice is good and it can be bad, because that inner voice can just really fill your mind with negative chitter chatter. So it's like sometimes you just got to tell your inner voice to shut up, because it's not helpful. So it's the inner voice is one thing, but it's actually taking control of that and actually asking yourself the questions. So instead of like listening to that inner voice, saying, why did I feel like that? What is my trigger for reacting in that way? Okay, so, I really ended up, I ended up having like a whole bottle of Diet Coke. Why? What preempted that? Did something happen? Yeah. Did I feel an emotion? Did was it a certain situation that I was in? Was it a relaxing situation, a stressful situation, a party, whatever. So it's about evaluation and not always listening to that inner voice. I mean, intuition is different to your inner voice. Intuition is one thing, but that inner voice can be such a little bitch sometimes. So, excuse my language, but you have to just, be selective hearing with your inner voice.
Well, I listen to it, not because I'm listening to it to follow it. I'm listening to it to take notes, to challenge it and say, shut up now.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So my thing was, shut up, I'm reading. You're distracting me.
Leave me alone, I'm in the bath.
Exactly. So one of the other things I've noticed is that I'm looking younger. I've heard that nutrition has an effect on how you look and your skin, but there was a while back I looked in the mirror and I thought, yes, you're looking old. You're wrinkled, you look tired, you're looking like older than your age. And the last couple of weeks, I'm looking younger and younger, and I'm like, I wonder how I'll look if I keep eating those blueberries, So, and for me, that's exciting. Yeah, I'm going backwards. I'm like, whoa, that's cool. I think my mom said when you hit 40, you go up in age until 40. And when you hit 40, you must go backwards. So you deducted.
My dad said that he started lying about my age, not his own. He said, I can't have people think I've got a 51-year-old daughter. That makes me really old. Like, you're so rude, but what a good idea. The thing about nutrition and what you're doing is, remember, you've drunk less so the things that affect our skin and our cells, eating good fats and eating fat. A lot of people go on a weight loss regime and they think, I just need to cut out all fats.
Yeah.
And they go on low fat everything. And I think we probably did almost certainly touched on this last time.
Yeah, we did.
They cut out, fat. They go on low fat everything, which is laden with sugar. And actually what ages us are stressors like coffee, so caffeine, sugar is a big one. So just by reducing your sugar, reducing your caffeine, increasing your water, increasing your good fats, that, your cells plump up and they fill all those wrinkles. And vegetables, fruit and veg are, nature's, what's the word I'm looking for? Anti-aging things, because our bodies, as we age, We've got all these oxidative stress from too much exercise, and what combats that is good nutrition. Good proteins, good fats, vitamin C. All these antioxidants. And that's why. I noticed. I think I actually messaged you and said, Lynne, I've just seen a photo of you. You look amazing. And it's just thank you very much.
Yes.
Really. So, and it wasn't just because I've been working with you. I saw it. I could see it. And I know you don't use filters and all that nonsense. So,
no.
You are very authentic. And that is the thing. So that's why, you can start these things and think you think it's all about weight loss. And it is. But there's other things. Energy, sleep improves. You look better, you feel better, mentally you can be better. I've
got loads of cool stuff on my list that I want to share.
Oh, go through your list.
So the weight loss, when I started, I thought the weight loss was going to be the main focus. And yes, it is still in one way a main focus, but there's been these like the better taste, the self-care, the self-love, the kindness to myself. That's massive. And I'm really enjoying that. I'm actually, like you talk about the values, happiness. It's been massive. It's been so amazing. I'm able to get up and go in the morning easier. I don't have to have my alarm clock snooze, 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 and then I push myself to get out of bed. I'm actually awake before my alarm goes off, and I get up and I put my alarm off because I'm awake and I'm ready to go. So I've got more energy. I also feel I've been looking at that experience I had with Mirena, and it was downright scary. I've actually, if anyone wants to read it, I've published a blog post on my website about the depression from the Mirena, and that was absolutely massive. And I'm so grateful that I've been. A lot of my life has been really, really cuck because of addiction, but I've also been given a lot of gifts. Like you say, the ability to self-reflect, and I've learned a lot of coping tools. And my bipolar disorder, I've got to monitor my moods. So I feel that when I had the Mirena put in a week later, I was fine on the Monday night, and I woke up on the Tuesday, and it's like my world had gone, the lights had gone out. It's all doom and gloom. I felt like I was walking through mud. I felt like if I have to smile, my face is just going to crack. It was, and I've had depression before. I had PND after Callista was born, but that was different because it crept into my life. And by the time I was in the grips of depression, I didn't even know I was there. I didn't know what the problem was. Yeah, it was literally overnight. I woke up.
Like a bus hit you.
And it was like, it hit me like a bus. And I took a moment to say to myself, don't panic, just relax. Just realize you're in a bad place. We'll figure this out. You just look at what's been going on in your life. Where has this come from? It's got to come from somewhere, or something triggered it, just figure it out. And then I think on day 2, I'm like, the IUD, I had the Mirena put in. And then I looked it up online, and immediately Mirena, depression, and all these results came up. And I'm like, oh, God. And I thought, okay, don't panic. We're going to put into place our tools, and I'm going to start telling a few people. That's the first thing for me, is to tell people where I am. So I told my mom, told my husband, told my recovery group. And then even though I didn't want to move, I walked. I kept with my eating plan. And it was quite funny because one of the things that I did in the first week was I started eating salads with beans and with lentils and stuff. And I didn't have the energy to come up with a new meal plan or anything like that. So I'm like, fine, that's okay. Do what works. Do the same thing you did last week.
Rinse and repeat until you feel in a place where you can.
And then I'm like, yes, I'm getting bored of this bean salad. But I made sure that I kept eating properly. I did what I could, and I was kind to myself, and I slowly started coming out of it. But I believe, looking back and reflecting on everything, I believe that the fact that I was doing this health challenge gave me a better chance of coming out of it, and coming out of it faster than I normally would have. I think I still would have come out of it, but I think the healthy eating, the healthy self-care, the walking, and the routine I was in really helped me with that. So, I think it was a bit of a bummer that happened during this health challenge, because it knocked me and it out of sorts. But it also taught me what to do and to keep on track, because every time I've tried to lose weight, I've lost it.
Yeah, exactly. But also this is not, so this is, that was a bad, particularly bad example of this, but that is life, isn't it?
Yes.
Shit gets thrown at us when we least expect it, and we have to deal with it. And the thing is, if we are healthy, we are more resilient to that stuff. Life happens. But if we are physically in a good place, then mentally we are more resilient to being able to deal with that. Stress isn't going to go away, but how we deal with it and how resilient we are to it can be totally managed and manifested. And the other thing that you've got there is that you actually had some structure and routine. And what do we do when things are going badly? Sometimes we just cling to that routine, because it's sometimes the only thread that we have that's connecting us with life. It's like almost like our lifeboat, isn't it? Okay, routine, get up, take the kids to school, come back, do that, feed the cat, whatever. And that kind of just keeps us moving, keeps us going. And that happens in life. So there will always be times when something really bad, like, your experience with Morena, or it could be family coming to visit and expecting you to eat potato salad and garlic bread every 5 minutes and chips, or it could be a kid's birthday party, or it could be weeks of lockdown and you just don't know what to do with yourself. So it's if you've got that structure and those new habits and a routine in place, it just makes it, if you go off track, it's easy to get back on track again. You're not floundering in the dark. Does that resonate with you?
Oh, totally. And I think that experience I had now during this challenge was my greatest achievement. I didn't go and get the chips and cream cheese, which I would normally do, and just lie in bed and
coffee.
I said to myself, you don't feel like walking, but you've got it on your plan today that you're going to go for a walk, and you're going to go for a walk, and then you're going to have your smoothie, and you're going to have your vitamins, and you're going to do this and this and this.
And you told me that you were going to go for a walk.
Yes. And I did.
Committed. And you did. So that's another big thing, is the accountability. Yeah,
I did. You know what I did the other day? I went for a walk, and the water was looking so beautiful on the beach. Everything was looking so divine. And I went for my walk, and I thought, oh, that water looks so inviting. And then I'm like, no, you got to go. You got to work. And then I said, no, I don't. I'm going to go put my swimming costume in, and I'm actually going to get right into that water, and I'm going to swim, even if it's 1 minute. And I went and I did that. And I'm like, I've lived on the beach now for 10 years. Literally on the beach. I can see it right through the window. It's a couple of meters away. And I've not gone to the water by myself and had a swim, because I've always got something else to do. And like, I did that, and I was like, this feels good. I'm doing stuff for myself. And the more I do it, the more nourished I feel and the happier I am. So it's like this, I just get this, I just want to be nice to myself, put myself first, which is a feeling I've never really had.
I know, and one thing I always say to my clients when they kind of feel, I can't do that, I've got the kids, I've got the husband, whatever, is you know what? It actually all does rest on your shoulders. That's not to like pile on the pressure, but what that means is you have to take care of yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself and it all falls apart, who's going to look after your kids? Put your own oxygen mask on first before helping others is something I bang on about all the time. It's not selfish, it's self-care.
Yeah.
That's the difference. It's self-care. You take care of yourself so that you can take care of them.
Well, I've known the theory of it, and I've implemented it a lot, but it's more like I have to make time for myself because I have to do this, and I have so that I can look after my kids.
Yeah.
This was, I feel like going for a swim on the beach. No one's here, and I'm going to go do it for myself because I feel like it. And that was a big, like, change for me. It was really huge.
It's amazing.
So I'm excited about that. And it all sounds like such small stuff, but it's actually really fantastic.
But it's small is relative, isn't it? It's relative. And this is, you know, the other thing I say, like, it's always an accumulation of many small changes, small steps get big results. And it's like a domino effect. It's an accumulation. So, you know, you had the, you know, by taking those walks on the beach and getting some exercise and getting out into nature, you were then like, okay, I'm open now to the possibility of having a blooming swim. And then you had that swim and you felt amazing. So, you know, it's awesome. Kind of a little bit cause and effect. If you weren't doing this and going for those walks, you would never have gone in the sea and had that swim and felt amazing.
Yeah.
So it's about keep going, keep moving. It's progress, not perfection. It's just keep going. Do what you want to do.
One of the challenges that I had with this health challenge is that my husband doesn't like to eat salad. My son won't eat tomatoes. They don't want to eat lots of vegetables. They don't like this. They want this. And I said to them, I'm doing this health challenge and I'm putting my health challenge first, over and above making sure that everybody gets the tasty food that they like. I'm going to do my health challenge first. And I said to my husband, this is what I'm doing. And you guys are just going to have to fit in with me because I can't make 3 different meals. I'm not that mother. You're going to have to eat what I make, or you are going to have to make for yourself and the kids if you want something else. You're welcome to. If you give me a shopping list, I'll even buy that food for you. But I'm making what I need to eat, and that is that. And you know what? Okay, they're not eating all of it, but they're eating it. I was so worried about changing the way that we eat because nobody's going to eat this. They're all going to moan and complain. And my son would say, how much do I have to eat in order to get a chocolate later? And I just said, I don't want talk like that at the dinner. I don't want moaning or complaining or anything. You just eat it or don't eat it, whatever. I'm not really worried, but this is what I'm making. This is what I'm eating. So it's like eat or starve or eat and make something, whatever, you know. And because I put myself first and the health of my family first, they're all eating. They're eating almost everything I make. Brilliant. And then my son the other day says, do I have to eat this? I said, honey, I've got a whole bean salad in the fridge if you want to eat something else. And he's like, and he eats.
Brilliant. I love it. Your voice notes really made me laugh. That whole life. I just thought they just kind of stuck it up and it was so funny.
My panties. You've got to tell everybody about my panties. It's the best one ever.
The panties.
The voice note, yes. So that's another accomplishment I've had. So yes, I've only lost 2 kilos, but my panties have become loose. I can still wear them except when I run. So when I run, I have to hold my panties on. And it feels so good. I did buy myself some new knickers, especially for running. The other ones can still last.
Some running knickers.
Yeah, I've got special running knickers.
Especially so running knickers.
It's running knickers. And for me, that's a huge accomplishment, you know. And when I'm running and I felt them falling down, I'm like, yay, I've done something cool. So yes, the scale doesn't give me great results, but I'm running and my panties are falling down. That's an achievement.
What we should have done is actually, I should have weighed you with my Tanita scales, because that will actually measure your body mass. So it will tell you, it measures your body fat percentage, because especially after the panty story, you know, your knickers falling down. I think that, well, I don't think, I'm pretty sure this is what's happened, is that because you've been more active, you have lost adipose fat tissue, but you have gained a bit of muscle. So you're toning up. So I think actually you have lost more fat than you think, than you believe you have, because your shape is changing. And that is a classic sign that you are losing that fat. It's just that it's, you know, the weight is shifting somewhere else. It's usually probably muscle, and you're getting this definition in your waist and everything's not rubbing as much. So it's a shame we didn't do that, but we didn't. So
no,
I'm really glad. I love that story.
I've lost a lot. I know I've lost a lot. The scale doesn't give me great results, but I'm seeing it. My clothes fit better. When I look at myself in the mirror, I'm looking more toned. When I wash myself, and I'm rubbing the soap on, I can feel the muscle. I can feel that it's more toned. and slimmer and everything. I'm feeling fantastic, and it's a great feeling. Oh, here's the other thing. Where is it? Sweat. So, I mean, everybody sweats, but there became a stage where I started sweating a lot without exercising, without barely moving, and it would stink. It wouldn't smell good.
That's toxins leaving your body.
Yeah. Now when I run, I sweat, and even if I don't have a shower, I don't stink. You know, and when you start sweating and stinking and you've barely done anything, so you have a shower, you get dressed, you go out to the mall, and you can feel you sweating, and you're like, oh,
I can smell myself, kind of thing.
You know, I can smell myself, you know, and for me, that is the most, I've never stank in my life. Okay, I'm an addict, so I didn't shower for days sometimes, but excluding that, I mean, not this way. I've never like had a shower and then stank 5 minutes later. That was happening to me.
Yeah.
And it was really, really grim, and I would feel so self-conscious and so, and now I run on the beach, I sweat, I come back, and I still smell fresh. Well, maybe not as fresh as I think, but not that.
Not as fresh as a daisy, maybe, but not as
fresh as a daisy. But that stink is not there. It's like a normal sweat thing. Yeah. And that for me is
that's because you haven't got. Yeah, you haven't got the toxins in your body in the same way that you did have. Yeah. So that's Yeah.
And then the other thing is often. Also, if I sit in a certain way or I sit for too long, I would get numb legs and stuff like that. Now my circulation is better. You know, there's so much stuff, so much positivity that's come from this.
So that's after 4 weeks and a little blip, you know, a 1 or 2 week blip because of Mirena. Can you imagine how you'd feel after 3 months? After 12 weeks of doing it?
Unfortunately for my son, he said to me the other day, how long are we going to eat like this? And I said, honey, this is now your life.
Until you leave home.
He's like, yeah, I'm feeling good because, you know, I'm making lunch for my husband, something that he is absolutely blown away by because he's always asked me for lunch, but he's been such a man, you know. He doesn't want sandwiches made the night before. He wants fresh sandwiches, and he doesn't want leftovers, and he doesn't want this, and he doesn't want that. You know, so he expects me to get up. He leaves for work just before 6. So I must now get up and make him a fresh something before he goes. I'm like, you're kidding me, you know. But I've now got great energy. So I get up at 5:30. I make him that salad. I pack it for him, and I package his snacks and everything. And I'm like, here you go, my love. And he's like, I'm like, you eat it all. This is your 10 o'clock snack. This is your lunch. This is your 3 o'clock snack. Off you go.
And does he eat it, or is he binning it and buying a pie?
He's actually been eating it, and he's been quite enjoying it. He says he's also picked up weight, but I can see him slimming down. So
interesting. Does he have more energy?
I'm not sure. I haven't checked in with him too much on it. I haven't done the energy quiz with him, anything like that. I have not had enough energy to extend to his health too much, other than his lunch. We'll get there, you know. I'm just going to keep going. But he's,
you know what? I was just going to say, and because I know that he and your kids were really resistant initially, and you just kind of, you know, that stance of, well, suck it up, buttercup, you just got to do it because this is what it is. But it's quite interesting now that he's actually quite embracing that, you know, that he's actually enjoying the food that you're packing for him for work, and that's so nice. And that is one of the, and I find especially because I do mainly work with women. And they are the gatekeepers of the meals. You know, they're the ones that are doing the shopping. They're the ones that are doing most of the prep. And the spin-off benefits are that the kids are eating better and the husband's eating better. I mean, I sometimes have clients, not very often, one comes to mind, where she would have her meals and she would let everyone else carry on eating the crap they've been eating for years. And And I sort of challenged her on that. I said, but you're doing this for you. Why don't you feel that you can extend this to the rest of your family, even by a bit, you know, just small changes? And she's just said, well, because I don't want to make them unhappy. And I said, but can you see, you know, can you see the danger there? That relationship with food that you're creating for them, that, you know, the relationship with food that you've got now because of what was created for you. And it was like a bit of a light bulb moment for her. And she's like, you know, because you really, you know, it's not about guilting anyone out here, but, you know, we feel like we're being kind to our kids when we're letting them have loads of fizzy drinks. Well, I'm here to tell you that fizzy drinks, even if they're diet and caffeine free, they are so bad for us. They are so, so bad. You will never, I probably have a cool drink maybe once a year. And it's probably once a year, when that one time a year when I'm really terribly hungover, and only that will do. And it is that, because what happened is so bad for us as women, especially to drink cool drink, because it damages our bones. Now, we've only got a few decades to store up all that calcium in our bones, and then things start to change. So, you know, we really need to not make it harder for our bodies to function in old age. And the thing is, when we drink cold drink, calcium, we store our body's calcium is mainly stored in our bones. So calcium is the mineral that has to come and deal with the fizziness. And so it leaves our bones, deals with the fizziness, and unless we're constantly replenishing it, we're depleting our bones of calcium, and we're weakening our bones. It is a big deal. And I actually think they should ban fizzy drinks. Probably going to get sued now.
Well, they are totally addictive.
It's something I feel really passionate about when I see kids glugging away, chugging on cool drink like there's no tomorrow. It is so damaging, even if it's diet, guys. It's really bad. Anyway, well, that's my mission for today.
I was hooked on Coke, fizzy drink Coke, cocaine before that, but Coca-Cola I'm talking about. And my husband, and I've discussed this with you, is a total Coca-Cola addict. And then the stuff is in the house, and then the kids ask, and then he pours for them, and it upsets me. So now I buy Coke on a Friday, and yes, we all have Coke on a Friday, and on a Saturday night, I have a small glass with the steak and chips we have. So yes, we still have steak and chips, but I have smaller steak, smaller chips, and half my plate is salad.
But you see, that's fine, you know, because it's a treat. It's not your chosen, you know, everyday drink. It's okay. It's the weekend. I'm gonna let my hair down a bit. I'm gonna spoil myself a bit. I'm gonna treat myself. We go have bad stuff, you know, the stuff that is less healthy. And when you're at that place with your health, that you're there, you know, you're at a healthy weight, you're content with your weight. You know, you can even, like, it doesn't always work, but I always say 80-20. You know, if you're eating well 80% of the time, you can have the ice cream, you can have the cake. You can have some wine, gin and tonic, whatever. It's about, well, you can't obviously, but you know, you can have things that are less healthy for you, because you're kind of where you need to be and you've got your healthy habits. But until then, it's just, you know, but it's when, instead of having water, you have a glass of Coke or a coffee. You know what I mean? And with kids, I don't really like working with kids because usually the parents are the problem, not the kids. But they're often in denial, actually. But with the kids, I always say it's always about crowding out the bad stuff. So not depriving them, just like you've done, Lynn. It's like, okay, well, you do this, but then you can have some Coke on Friday. You know, it's Coca-Cola. And then it's about, but, you know, to be able to enjoy that, you have to sustain yourself and eat well. And it's fine, you know, but I want you to have salads. I want you to have fish, and I want you to have your veggies and broccoli and all of that, and drink water. And then you can have that treat. I mean, my kids don't walk around having no sugar and no sweets and I mean, I'd rather they had chocolate than sort of sweeties. But they have a treat at the weekend. They can have a cupcake. They can, you know, I don't walk around saying, you know, how depressing would that be for them? And all their friends are, you know, able to have that. So it's about encouraging a healthy relationship with food, and the triggers, and I find myself doing this as well. I have to really try not to reward with a treat like that. It's so easy. Well, if you do that, I'll buy you some chocolate. We all do that. So but I try not to, because there has to be other rewards other than food. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense. And what I'm finding as well, and I said this to my husband the other night when he sat down to his steak and chips and he took a bite and he just looked so like in bliss. And I said to him, doesn't the food I give you all week really make you appreciate your steak more? And he's like, yes. So what I'm finding is that, when we were eating unhealthy all the time, and I didn't realize how unhealthy we were eating, you don't really appreciate what you're eating anyway. So, those things that taste so nice, when you have them every day, it loses its appeal. Your taste is not so great. But when we keep the snacks and the treats, like Friday night, we do burgers and we have steak. Sorry, Friday nights, we have our burgers and we have our sweeties or our chocolate and a glass of Coke. Now, everybody, it's just quiet and they're nibbling on their burgers and you can just see the bliss on their face. Usually, before on a Friday night, it's just so entitled and so, it's nothing special about it. Now, the Friday night is very special. Saturday night, my husband loves steak and chips and they have pizza. And they don't like steak so much. And everybody's like, wow, this is amazing. And it's like, you've had this is what we do on a Saturday night. We've done it forever. But because we're eating healthily during the week, they're eating that better. And also, they are eating healthy foods more. So before, if I put like a salad on their plate, they would like, oh, no, I'm not going to eat that.
Yeah.
Now when I put something new on their plate, they are more likely to try it. And my son is particularly fussy when it comes to vegetables and healthy foods. And the other day he ate something, I made a bean curry. And he tasted it and he loves curry. And he tasted it with a bean. He says, he was already pulling his face, expecting it to be bad. And he says, oh, this isn't so bad, especially with the curry sauce. So I think their tastes are getting better and they're kind of adjusting more to healthy foods.
That's brilliant. And I think, I really want to acknowledge you for that, and hats off to you, Lynne, to push through that pain barrier of, whinging kids who are like, oh, I don't like this. It's not easy but you've kind of been really tenacious and just pushed through that. And really well done. That's brilliant. And it's just so nice then that they are appreciating the stuff that you took for granted, maybe, because of it.
Yeah, totally. And I think at the beginning of this challenge, you asked me, what are my main goals? And one of my main goals was to change the health of my entire family, which at that time, it was a dream goal, but I didn't actually truly believe that I'd be able to change the things that my husband eats and get him to eat salad at night. He finishes everything on his plate. I mean, they leave little bits and pieces, like my husband doesn't eat the skin of the sweet potato, which I know is really good, but I'm not, this pick your battles, you know what I mean? He ate the sweet potato, he ate all of the salad on his plate. So, I'm not, I just said the other night, I said, the skin's the most important part, but hey. And the other day I made, for my kids and I made, according to your suggestions, I made for lunch, baked sweet potato with a topping. So my kids had cream cheese and I had hummus and we had some avo with it. It was divine. And they ate everything. And I'm like, I'll buy them like sausage rolls or chicken nuggets. And I'm like,
and we get stuck in a rut. We all get stuck. I get stuck in a rut. You end up doing the same things over and over again. So it's actually really nice when it makes you try a different thing. Adding something really delicious and healthy and nutritious to your repertoire. I love it. I'll just ask you a question, Lynne. Have you noticed any changes in your kids?
I'm trying to think. It's been really busy. But I
not necessarily weight-wise, just like, behavior or reacting to situations differently, anything.
I think they've been a lot more keen to do things. So, for example, So another challenge I have every holiday, and it's hard when the routine changes. So now I'm at home from 6 a.m. till 7 p.m. with these two kids. Now I want to go out. I want to run on the beach, and you got two. I don't want to run. I want to sit and play on the phone. I don't want to. And now this time I'm like, we're having our breakfast, we're having our vitamins, we're having a glass of water, and we're gonna hit that beach. And my son's like, yeah, we're gonna go run. And I'm like, whoa, dude, where did you come from? And he's a very active kid, but they've been very it's been hard for me in the past to kind of realize that I've just got to tell them this is how it is. I mean, they've got to brush their teeth every day. I don't say, oh, Shem, you don't feel like brushing your teeth. Oh, that's okay. No, you brush your damn teeth. Ew, you stink, and your teeth are going to rot and fall out. So now I just say to them as well, I'm running on the beach, and you are coming with me, and you will keep up because you are 10 years old or 9 years old, and I'm 42. Come on. Like, really? Are you telling me that you can't run as fast as this old bat? No, you come and you keep up. So now they come and they keep up with me. And there's also things like, if I don't exercise first thing in the morning, I always feel like then I can't do it because I've got all the stuff and I get involved with the family. And I've changed that. So on Wednesday, it rained in the morning. My kids were so happy they didn't have to run. So I did a little exercise video. I can feel I've strained stuff here. I've strained some tummy muscles from the YouTube video.
Boobs coming up. Boobs coming up.
Yeah, I can feel all the so usually if it's raining and I was planning on running, well, that's it. I'll just get on with my day. And I don't.
Yes, I love it.
I'm going to do my exercise video. The kids can just watch TV, whatevs. And then the other day I didn't run in the morning. Why? I ran out of time. I think it was when I did my live video last week, Friday. So when my husband got home from work, I'm like, cheers, hon, I'm going to run on the beach. And I ran in the afternoon. And that's something totally different. So I'm finding that my motivation and determination and sticking to my plan is working. So yeah, I'm supposed to run 3 times this week. I've done 2 times, and I'm supposed to swim in the ocean once. So I've got 1 run and 1 swim to go. And I've still got 3 days, today, tomorrow, and Sunday. So I'm doing good.
You're doing really, really, really well. Really well. Well done.
Yeah. So I want to see if there's anything else. Oh. So one thing, I've got quite big boobs, and the fatter I get, the bigger they get. And what's been happening for a while?
I don't. When I put on weight, it always goes to my bum.
No, mine's in the boob.
So unlucky.
Yeah.
Anyway,
no, nothing goes on my bum. My bum
goes on my boobs.
So, but what's been happening now is when I put on a bra, my boobs become like, because they become so big with weight, like they become a mono boob, like squashed like this.
Yeah.
And in this bit over here becomes this like red bit. And that becomes like, I know this is really TMI, guys, I'm sorry, but like a cheesy smile, Anyway, that has stopped. So I don't have this red bit in between my boobs, and it's not like stink. So anyway, I mean, I'm just getting honest with all this stuff.
This is great because it's also toxins. It's because you've just like, all the bad stuff is sort of, you're drinking water, you're drinking less coffee, you're eating better foods, everything's kind of, your liver's healthier, so it's all coming that way instead of like out of your pores.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. And then the other thing is when I would shave, I'd have to lift my stomach and like really pull it and squish it out the way so I could shave and see what I'm doing. I don't have that problem anymore. I mean, I still got to push it a bit, but it's like it moves because that's it. Like my stomach was quite hard and like set in place, and now I can wobble it like this. It's become more like, I mean, the tummy's still there, but it's smaller and it's more
mushy
and hanging, sitting loud and proud. So my stomach is changing. It's become it was very bloated and almost firm. So it's starting to jello out and wobble, and I don't know if that's normal, but that's what's happening to me.
No, it is normal. I mean, that is normal, and it's like sometimes you see. It's interesting because I can kind of, when I see someone that's overweight, I can kind of identify to a certain degree what their issues are in terms of the types of food they eat, whether it's food, whether it's alcohol. You know, it's not in a judgmental way. I don't approach it in a judgmental way at all. It's more about, okay, well, so you can definitely, as your eating habits change and you're eliminating, you know, the stuff that's not healthy and bringing in the stuff that is healthy, everything's changing. You know, even how your fat cells are, you know, and how they respond to the, you know, everything about you just changes. You know, your skin, your eyes become clearer, taste buds change. I think the taste bud change is a brilliant one because, you know, it's like, well, you still have coffee, sugar in your tea, in your coffee, but I used to have sugar in my tea. And I remember the only way I could do it was come off tea completely. And then I think one day I had a cup of tea and had my normal 2 sugars in it, and I couldn't drink it. It was so disgusting because it was so sweet. And I'm like, oh, and I could never, I mean, I do drink tea again now, but I don't have sugar in it. And it's that the taste buds change and your expectation, once your taste buds, your brain catches up with your taste buds, you don't want the sugary taste anymore. So half of that, you know, your thing is I can't give up the sugar in my coffee. It's because your brain has been hardwired to expect it to taste a certain way. So when you drink it without coffee, without sugar, your taste buds are going, hang on, this should be sweet. Or it's like expecting sweetness, goes to your brain. Your brain's like, oh, no, what's wrong? This isn't right. This isn't right. This is not what I'm expecting. Because the eyes signal is saying it's coffee. The taste buds are expecting it to taste a certain way, and then it doesn't. Once you've got through that little bit of a thing, it's easy after that.
Yeah.
So it's that, you know, having something that's really sweet, and you'll be able to taste and detect sugar and stuff from a million miles away when you eat something. You know, I can taste sugar in a sauce. They've put sugar in this. You know, it's because your taste buds are so receptive again. It's like when you give up smoking. You probably found that as well. When you gave up smoking, your taste buds are different. Yeah, it's different. It just changes things. It re-educates your taste buds.
On the taste now is that I used to really enjoy trying out new foods and new recipes and finding stuff to eat. And one of the things I'm doing now is that because we're eating different foods, like I say, in the beginning, partly due to the depression I hit, I just stuck to that first week of, okay, I know this is right because I worked this out very carefully. I put the effort in. I'll just keep doing this. So I did it for 3 weeks. But then, like, I started like, oh, I can't eat the same stuff anymore. And my husband's like, seriously, you know, like it's enough of the bean salad. I'm going to vomit if I eat it. So now I'm looking at, you know, like the bean curry instead of the bean salad, and trying to, you know, incorporate the lentils. Because, I mean, I never even eat lentils. I like lentils, but I never ate them because the family didn't like them. So now I'm looking at different ways to incorporate lentils, different ways to eat oats other than just like oats and, you know, whatever. So
lovely dal recipe.
Oh, stunning. Yeah, I'd love it. So I'm trying different things and I'm watching YouTube videos. Oh, I had such a fail the other day. I tried a chickpea curry that I saw on YouTube. And then I made the bean curry afterwards. It wasn't even edible. But I'm enjoying kind of like trying to figure out how I can incorporate the foods I'm supposed to be eating in new, fun, interesting ways that's like tasty. So it's been actually quite, you know, at the beginning it was a bit of a pain in the ass trying to figure out meals and trying to figure out what are we doing, what are we eating, and now it's becoming more enjoyable, more of a challenge, a nice fun challenge.
Yeah, something that's interesting.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get the healthy foods, but in a nice, tasty, awesome way, which I think we need.
Yeah. I think I said right at the outset, you know, this is not about austerity. This is not about deprivation. It's about eating delicious food.
Yes.
It's not about feeling hungry either. You know, you can eat. There's no need to feel hungry. Apart from, you know, the normal times like, oh, I'm ready for my dinner. I feel a bit hungry. You know, it's not starvation or deprivation, and there's no need to eat like rabbit food. You know, you can make it delicious.
Yeah, and I think also that I thought I didn't have a problem with the way I was eating, but now that I'm eating properly and I eat a chocolate, I don't have that feeling that I didn't even realize was there. But now I realize it was there. When I eat a chocolate now, I sit down, I open it up, and I say to myself, damn, you deserve this. But before, I think I always had that I wouldn't acknowledge it, but I had that, oh, I shouldn't really, because I had a chocolate yesterday and I ate a packet of chips earlier and I've had 2 glasses of Coke, but I just shut up and go away. I'm just going to eat this, stuff it in my face. So
yeah.
I think
so you felt, you knew, you probably shouldn't be having it. And then that's feeding all these feelings of, excuse the pun, feeding all these feelings of guilt and I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
Whereas now you can actually, you know what, it's okay to have this because I've eaten really healthily.
Yeah,
so
I deserve it.
That's fine.
And when I eat it tastes better because my taste buds are, before it didn't even taste that great because you're eating all that stuff all the time and you're eating unhealthily. So now when I eat it, I feel good. I feel like I deserve it. And I don't have that guilty feeling. And it tastes really so much better. So everything
food does taste better when you've got, when you reduce the sugar in your diet, food does taste so much better.
Yeah. So quickly.
Yeah.
Because I think we've covered everything unless there's something you want to bring up.
I don't think so.
Okay. So we've got Mary Ann, my buddy from school, wanting to know, do you have any cool recipe ideas? Mary Ann, I'll check with Helen, but I think she's got recipes on her website.
I do, and also my Facebook page. I've got a Facebook page, Helen Joubert Nutrition and Wellness. I often post recipes in there, so have a look in the feed there. So I think the dal recipe that I mentioned that I'm going to give to Lynne is there, and Lynne, I can always send you that, and you can put it on your. How do you do it? Would you put it on your Facebook group so you can post that? I've also got a really brilliant soda bread recipe. All sorts of stuff on there. And like hacks, substitutes and things like that in there. So check it out. But so my Facebook page definitely has them. So does my website. Yeah.
Perfect. I'll add some links later when I have a moment. I'll come back, Mary Ann, and I will reply to your comment with some stuff. Lauren. Yeah. I'm starting to feel like, I might be able to fit into my thin clothes again. It's a nice feeling.
Lauren, it's brilliant when that happens. And it's an excuse to go shopping, which is also great. Lauren, I was just going to say that, plant-based, brilliant. Just make sure that I'm sure you have checked it out, but just make sure you're getting the right amount of protein and also check out your B vitamins because they can be lacking in plant-based. So I'm sure you've got your supplements all sorted, but well done. That's brilliant. Yay, shopping.
And Lauren saying also family's not made the switch with you. Yeah, I think that's the tough part.
I think something, which is a bit more extreme on the scale, going plant-based, that has to be a choice really, an individual choice. But I'm sure you'll be, introducing them to some lovely meals and they'll can see that it's actually, just even if it's just part of a repertoire to, go veggie or have the odd vegan meal, within that, within their week, then that's all good, isn't it? That's kind of going the right way. Small steps.
Yeah. What I've personally started is that I would also love to be plant-based, but my husband and my son are my daughter's there with me 100%. But she doesn't want to eat this or this or this or this, but she doesn't want to eat meat. And I'm like, if you're not going to eat meat, you got to eat the beans, you got to eat the lentils, you got to eat the chickpeas.
Yeah.
So we're working on that. But the other day when I made that bean salad, the bean curry, I made that for me and the kids for lunch, and then I put it in my husband's lunchbox the next day. And he's usually, don't give me a meal without meat, any meal. It's got to have meat in. He didn't say anything. I gave him a bean salad with rice and then a separate thing bean curry with rice and then a separate salad, just a green salad. And he ate everything. He came back, lunch boxes were empty, and he didn't say anything. So I think just starting these little changes and not saying anything.
And I think it's making sure the textures are there and that it's delicious. I actually say I'm flexitarian. I enjoy everything. So in a week, we don't really think about, me and my husband, when we're sort of planning, he's really into healthy eating as well. So, what we do is we just, think, he does most of the cooking actually, lucky me. But we kind of, when we're planning our meals, it's kind of, okay, we don't necessarily think, oh, it has to have meat. You know, it's just like, what do we fancy? It's like, oh, let's have a veggie curry tonight, or let's have some chicken pieces, or let's roast a chicken, or, you know, we don't have that much red meat. But when we do, you know, we enjoy it. So we always try and go like a couple of days, at least in the week, where it's vegetarian, but it's not really a conscious thing. It's just what do we want to eat, you know? And then I could never give up eggs. I love them. So that's for me really tricky. That's why I could never be plant-based. But I enjoy plant-based food. I enjoy vegan food. I've got a friend who, some friends who are vegan, and he is a brilliant cook, and he has made me some Mexican food. I love Mexican food. He's made me some vegan Mexican meals before. I love them. So, you know, that's why I say I'm a flexitarian. But people will make that choice themselves, I think.
Yeah, well, I'm just, on that note, I'm not taking the meat away, but I've reduced the meat in a big way, and I'm eating a lot more legumes and vegetables and salads and stuff. And it's working, you know. I'm making these changes, and my family are just towing the line, which is quite nice, quite surprising.
But I think, you know, it's really important to, especially when you go onto a weight loss regime, and then you think, oh, you know, it's about reducing your food. It's actually not. And actually, I've got a really dear friend. If anyone follows my Facebook page, they've probably seen me share some of her stuff. She was a chef, and we studied together. And she's, you know, in the UK, and she had a restaurant. And now she's pivoted because of COVID. The restaurant's still closed, but she now has this frozen food line. And her whole mantra is, every meal she makes, it's about how much nutrition can I pack into this. So she will really be selective about her ingredients, and she'll be like, right, I mean, these, you know. So she comes at it from a nutritional therapy perspective, but she's bringing the chef delicious, beautifully cooked food into that. So you've got really nutritious and delicious food that is just jam-packed, and that should always be the aim. Pack in the nutrition, because the more nutrition, and I mean nutrition like, you know, eat a rainbow, you know, lots of different types of minerals and vitamins, get them in there. And then, you know, obviously this is based generically, as opposed to if you've got a specific condition where you should avoid some foods, or you're on meds that should avoid food. So that's, big caveat there.
Well, that's what I'm finding now, is that I'm, you know, before I used to think, oh, what's tasty? What do I feel like eating? What's going to like fill that taste bud, you know? Now I think, what does my body need right now? And then I decide on the food that I want, like, for example, chickpeas. And then I'm like, okay, so how can I make an awesome, tasty meal with chickpeas? And then I go and do that. And I'm finding that, so my whole mindset has completely changed. And then also, like this morning, my family ate a crap load of spinach, and they don't even know it.
Yes, I love it.
This was breakfast today. Smoothie, and it's got berries and all sorts of tasty stuff in. And then I loaded the smoothie with spinach, because you can't actually taste it in a smoothie.
No, you can't. And I'll tell you what else is a really great way to use spinach, and they won't even know. Make a spinach pesto.
They don't do pesto. It's too green.
That looks pretty green.
Yeah, but they don't want it. They don't want pesto.
But you know what you can do? You know how you can get this in, right? Listen, pizza base, right? Do your thing.
Ooh.
Before you put the cheese on, put the spinach pesto over it. Then put the cheese on. Spinach pesto with some feta and any nut you can get. I mean, obviously, pine nuts, you know, you need to kind of take out a bank loan to buy those these days. I usually put something else in, like walnuts or almonds even. Almonds are a bit hard, but cashews are really, really nice. So walnuts, cashews are the best ones. And then almonds, just put those in instead of pine nuts. Okay, unless you've got a nut allergy, in which case don't.
No nut allergy, so we're all good.
But hide it, disguise it.
Oh, so we've got Sonia. She loves pesto, but she hasn't tried making it with spinach. I've never either. I usually go for basil pesto, and I just buy it. Now, I love basil pesto. And my husband,
it's so expensive.
Yeah, I know, but I'm also lazy.
But it's really good. Sorry, who was the lady that said she likes pesto? What?
Sonia.
Sonia, check out, if you go to my Facebook page, the recipe's on there for the spinach pesto, and it's really easy. And if you've got like a stick blender, like a handheld thing, it takes seconds to make it. I just shove a bag in, a wheel of feta, a little bit of olive oil, whatever nuts I can find, chuck it all in, a little bit of salt and pepper. If you want to, you can add some basil to that, some fresh basil as well, but you don't have to. And it's actually really nice. And it's nice as a dip. It's nice to like throw on pizzas. In fact, I think there's a whole thread about how can we use, guys, to my Facebook community. Anyone got any ideas and how else we can use it? And I can't remember them all now, but people are coming in with some ideas. So go check it out. So it's really, really easy to do.
My favorite snack has been to get half an avo, because I got a whole stack of avos cheap at Food Lovers Market. I was so happy. I've still got some left. So I chop it in half and I just shove a whole stack of hummus in, and then I chuck basil pesto on top, and I just take my spoon and I go.
Dive right in. That sounds delicious. That sounds really good. Yeah. Really good. Yeah. That's the thing. Try and eat seasonal. I mean, I buy my avos. I'm addicted to avos. I buy my avos from, there's a guy that sells fruit and other stuff on the four-way stop in Langebaan by the mall. So if he's there, I always run over and just see if he's got some avos. It's super, super cheap and good quality. He'll like always throw a few ripe ones in and a few that aren't ripe. It's great.
Okay. How much does he sell them for?
I can't remember, but I mean, I think the other day I got about 7 for 50 Rand or 60 Rand. Cheap.
Fantastic.
Really good. And some of them are really big.
Yeah. Okay, now I'm going to buy my avos there instead of driving all the way to Frederick.
Check it out. He doesn't always have them, and sometimes it depends where he's got them. There are sometimes he just says, no, sorry, they're too expensive at the moment. I'm all out of avos, in which case I'm like, treat myself to an avo a week.
Okay, no, that's lovely. That's a good tip to know. I'm going to keep that and go buy there. I don't know if there's anything else we need to cover. I think I've got all my stuff that I wanted to bring up done. Done. Wait, before you go, one more thing. So you know roughly where I am with everything now. What would you advise that I do? I've now cut out the snacks, by the way, because it was too much, and I think my blood sugar level stabilized out. I'm just having meals now, and I snack if I'm hungry. But what else can I do now? I've upped my exercise. I'm running. I'm eating the right things. I'm being active with my kids. What one thing would you advise that I now do that would make a big impact?
Without seeing your food diary, I would, just from what you said today, if you still want to keep going, and how many kgs more do you want to lose?
Well, I need about 15, I think.
About 15.
65, so, 70, 10, 15.
How much did you lose weight this week?
I lost not much. I mean, I don't think I lost anything in the last week. I lost 2 kilos in the first 2 weeks. I put on 1 kilo in the 3rd week. I lost 1 kilo in the 4th week, and now I've been kind of stable. So I'm about 80.
When did you cut out your snacks?
About a week ago.
Yeah. I would bring your snacks back.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'll tell you why. Because you think your blood sugar's normal. I would, if you really, really hate it, drop one snack. But you see, what happens is, with my system, I'm just going to draw a little diagram. Okay. You see that?
Yeah.
Can you see that? Okay. This here at the bottom, these troughs and these peaks, that's when you go into fat storing mode. The reason being, that's when your blood sugar drops. And so this is like, say you wake up in the morning, you're here, and you eat something. Well, cortisol gets you out of bed initially, and then you go up here. So what you want to do, so when you're up here, that's when insulin comes out to deal with, because obviously insulin comes out because, we eat because we need fuel. We get our fuel from glucose, food. Our foods are the source of glucose, carbohydrate is the source of glucose. Insulin comes out to deal with that. Insulin takes the glucose to our cells to fuel us, and then the cells are transported around our body, blah, blah, blah. But what happens is that when there's too much, the other job insulin has to do is like, well, what do I do with this excess glucose? Well, I'm going to store it in fat cells because fat cells don't need it, and I can just dump it there. It's like a dumping ground. So you know all that sweating and the smelling and all of that, that's because the fat cells are holding toxins, because anything that's stored that your liver can't deal with, it's all stored there. So what happens here? And then, but when you go into starvation mode, like when it drops so much here, when you go up again, it's like, we need to really store this stuff because glucose is our main sort of source of energy. Our secondary source of energy is fat. So if we make sure we've got enough of that, next time we starve, we can fall back on the fat. So that's okay. And sometimes that's an effective way short term to lose weight, but it's not ideal long term. It's not sustainable, and it messes with your metabolism. This is how we are as humans supposed to operate. If you stay here, you're not putting on weight and you're going into fat burning mode. So I don't think it's a coincidence that you stopped your snacks a week ago and this week you haven't lost any weight. Okay,
so I'm going to take back my snacks.
The aim really to stop this happening, apart from cutting out, very sugary foods and just dealing with, good veggies, carbohydrates, we need them, but I'm talking about healthy carbs. The way to do that is to eat frequently. So I'm talking every 4 hours, really. So, there are other ways, intermittent fasting, time-restricted eating. This is not what this is right now. So if you aim to eat every sort of 4 hours, so breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, and then don't eat after dinner, then I think you might see a bit of a shift again.
Okay, well, then I've got to go.
You should. Yeah, go eat them. And then the other thing is, if you really, really, depending on how fast, I think 1 kilo a week is pretty healthy, 1 to 2 kilos maximum. It's a healthy way to lose weight, because you don't, because when we go into big, big extreme weight loss, that puts a big burden on our kidneys and you get kidney stones. So steady as she goes is what I always say. And so I think that's a good rate of weight loss. If you wanted to kind of get to that level, 2 kgs, then you're really thinking about the sugar in your coffee. We're talking about like really substituting those things. And I'm really happy to carry on working with you, Lynne, properly. We can have some sessions, we can talk about rewards, we can look at reframing some things and brainstorming some ideas for substitutions and things. But if we're looking at refining now, and I would take out the sugar from your coffee, take out the coffee, maybe not have the Coca-Cola and the chocolate, but it really depends on how far you want to go with it. And how quickly.
I'm not interested in losing a huge amount of weight each week, as long as I'm, losing, even if it's 1 kilo a week.
Yeah, so just kind of keep progressing. So that's what I would do then. I would bring the snacks back in. Bring the snacks back in, keep a food diary, and now I can have a look at that for you next week. I know Easter weekend might be a bit different, a few Easter eggs flying around.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then I can take a look and just see. So just make sure you jot down your timings and how you're feeling mood-wise at the same time as that. And have a look.
Yay! Awesome. Thank you so much, Helen.
No, thank you. It's been lots of fun.
It's been an amazing journey, and I think for me, like I haven't dieted or anything as such, but I've tried to kind of exercise the weight off every now and then, and I've tried to eat healthier, and it's made such a huge impact having the guidance and the motivation and the great energy that you brought to this, and all the knowledge and the positivity. And I think for me, that's been one of the biggest things, that I've kind of always viewed weight loss and health as a negative. I'm going to restrict, and it's going to be painful, and you're going to make me go to gym, and my muscles are going to ache, and I'm going to be so miserable. But it's been actually the most amazing, wonderful experience so far. So thank you for that.
I'm so pleased. I just want to say that weight loss is 80% what you eat and 20% activity.
Yeah.
So you cannot outrun a bad diet, and that so it's that. In fact, I told a client yesterday to stop exercising as much, because I felt that she was doing quite extreme exercising that was raising her cortisol levels. So she was like, okay. She was like, didn't need any second persuasion on that one. So every day she was doing it. And what I also want to say is, Lynn, that one day when you called me, or did we actually chat on the phone, or we were just like exchanging voice notes? I can't actually remember now. When you told me about how bad you were feeling, and the Mirena was the culprit, and you said, Helen, I haven't even taken my washing in for how many days was it?
3 days.
3 days. And I said, I can top that. Do you remember? I said, my washing, I think that was on the Friday we had that conversation, wasn't it? I said, my washing's been out there since Monday. And I haven't got it in. And so, yeah, if that makes you feel any better, that might not be the depression that's stopping you getting the washing in. But no, I enjoyed it a lot, and just keep in touch and we'll just keep going.
Perfect. Cool. And now I've got to choose
lots of things we can do. Oh yes, choose a winner.
So I think this should be our winner, Sonia. She's learning.
Sonia, yay!
Yeah, you look like you need the assistance, Sonia. And I know that that Helen is absolutely fantastic, like I've said. So Sonia, you're going to be our winner of the 1 hour consultation with Helen. You can either inbox me, or you can pop me an email to lynne@kaboutjie.com, and I'll put you in touch with Helen.
And Sonia, I wouldn't go on a weight loss per se diet while you're breastfeeding, because you need, I don't really work with calories per se, but you do need the calories. Breastfeeding, this is why a lot of people do lose weight when they breastfeed. You need those calories, because you're sustaining a little human. But there are things that we can do to support that and get you eating healthier without sacrificing any of that energy you need for breastfeeding.
Yeah, and you need a lot.
Thank you, Sonia.
Yeah, awesome, cool. Thank you so much, Helen. Once again, thank you for adding to my videos and my page and everything. I'll be creating a blog post. I'll add some of Helen's recipes into it.
Yes.
And Helen's website and Facebook page and everything. I wish everybody a fantastic Easter weekend. Helen, have a good one.
Thank you, and you. Thanks, everyone, and have a good weekend. You can eat an Easter egg.
I'm going to eat an Easter egg.
I'm going to.
Bye.
Bye.